Sitting here wondering, it's a beautiful spring day here in Charleston, South Carolina. Springs. How did I ever get involved in this? Welcome to Team G503. I am Scott Schiller, your host, and we're doing this little small mini-series that we filmed out at Jimmy Strauss Jeeps in Diamond Springs, California. You've probably been watching the videos with Norm and the gang out there rebuilding the L134 engines. In this video, we're going to concentrate on valves, the intake and exhaust valves, and the springs. This is a good one. Check it out. Norm and Gabe are setting up to install a new camshaft bearing and a new camshaft. As the camshaft turns in the engine, the lobes on the camshaft will lift the tappet, which in turn opens and closes the intake valve, first allowing the fuel air mixture to be drawn into the combustion chamber. After it is compressed and ignites, the exhaust valve will open and close, allowing the spent gases out as exhaust. This process is repeated on each cylinder.
Right over there.
Gabe is lining up the oil hole in the new bearing with the hole that's in the block to allow the oil to oil the camshaft.
See the hole, how it's nice to line up in there, Scott?
Mm-hmm.
That's what feeds the oil to the bearing on the camshaft.
Is it lined up?
Yeah.
For sure?
Yes.
Hey, take your finger, go ahead, get the bar. There. The guide is already in there.
He has a guide going all the way through it so it stays true through the other journals.
Okay, smash it. All right. Again. Okay, good.
Be careful that doesn't nick the bearing when you pull it out.
Okay. Like this. So they'll rotate on the cam.
When they spins.
Because if they're flat and they won't rotate, that beats the crap out of the camshaft. You got to be able to rotate them.
So he has to inspect them to make sure they're not been flattened or beaten down or worn down or the hard surface has been
Yeah, to
pitted.
get that one out, just push up on it. It'll come out.
They're pretty.
So the top of the
snug.
tappet is concave.
Yeah.
More than I ever
It's
had.
Slightly.
convex.
Convex.
Yes.
Okay.
Convex.
That's good.
Yes, sir.
You don't have to go that much.
Well,
Go ahead.
Maybe
just,
we need
just
to
make a couple of turns on it.
Is that fitting loose now?
Yeah.
Each tappet is coated with assembly lube after it is checked and then inserted into its prospective location inside the engine block. A new camshaft will be lubed up with assembly lube and fitted from the front side of the block into the engine through the journals that are cast on the inside of the block, as you can see here in this photograph.
Yeah, the tight wound here goes to the block.
And you want to tell them why?
It keeps it from bouncing, from jazzing around.
Jazzing around.
What? So I use a valve bar on it to put in the retainers. I can't just get them in. Dummy valve. Somebody sabotaged me. You didn't get it in.
Norm dips each one of the valves in oil before he installs it into the block. The intake and exhaust valves are different sizes on the stems. The exhaust is .371 and the intake is .373. Only a slight difference, but there is one. While Norm finishes up installing the rest of the valves, Gabe is separating and getting prepared the actual locks, or keepers as some call them, by applying a small amount of grease to them. This will aid in their installation. Using a vintage spring compressor, Norm compresses the spring so that the machined area in the valve stem is accessible. Then the keepers, or locks, can be installed.
Okay. He's got small fingers, he can get in there, I can't. And these are tapered, so they only go one way. Tapered.
I got you. The spring retainer locks are tapered, and the shorter end or pointed end goes towards the top of the engine block or the valve. As you see here, the grease will keep them in place until tension is taken off the spring and it locks the whole mechanism in place.
This blue grease just helps them stick to the valve while you're putting them together.
Norm and Gabe work as a team and will continue for the entire set of springs to install the retainers and the locks. Once the process is complete, you son of a bitch.
You got Jimmy's engine all dirty, man. Wipe it off.
Okay, time to adjust the valves.
Adjust the valves.
Thank you for watching. If you'd like to follow along what we're doing with the 1943 Willys MB and other little tidbits of information in the G503 world and G503 TV, you can do so by hitting that subscribe button. At the end, you always got to ask for the subscriptions, man. That's how we grow the channel. Thank you, everybody, for your support and the people who do subscribe and follow along. And thank you for all your comments. If you'd like to make one of what we're doing, good, bad, or indifferent, you can do so at the bottom of the screen. Until next time, my friends, keep it safe and happy Jeeping.